We are very happy to have you here. So we are looking into the controversy around joke theft and power thinking across Uganda and the African continent. Stand-up comedy is no longer just about laughter. It's fast becoming a powerful cultural and economic force. Just over a decade, stand-up comedy played alongside music and theater. Today it's considered one of the fastest growing art forms, with comedians able to headline their own shows and attract audiences. We have Hilary Okello's show forthcoming. We explore the industry of comedy with Nelson Silwea, comedian, and also Okello is a comedian. Dr. Hilary Okello is right next to me. Then we have Nelson Silwea. He is from Zambia. You're welcome to Uganda.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes, and I'll start with you, Nelson. What are you doing in Uganda, and how have you found comedy over there compared to here?
Okay, that's very good. A very good question. And once again, thank you so much for hosting me. How have I found comedy in Uganda? So Uganda is, I think, so far I would say, is one of the fastest growing in terms of comedy. And we are here to learn what happens here in Uganda. So back home as well, Zambia and Uganda almost have the same things. Yeah, so there are a few things that we are going to exchange, except like for us, where I come from, we have a ministry that is actually in charge of comedians and artists. So we have that. So every association art related is under that ministry. So that's where we're coming from, and a lot of support from them. So apart from that, I'd say we are also growing as a comedy industry in Zambia.
Yeah. And I believe there are similarities between Uganda and Zambia. I'll come back to you, but for now, Okello, talk to us. Actually, my producer is wondering, are you a doctor? Do you have a PhD, or are you a medical doctor, or are you a doctor in comedy?
A doctor in comedy, but also I did practice, I did study clinical medicine.
Wow,
and I did
amazing.
practice medicine for 4 years.
Wow.
But interestingly, at the time, I was doing both comedy and medicine at the same time. Yes, so when the comedy took off, I realized, you know what, laughter is the best medicine.
Wow, that's very impressive. And yes. It's just so rare. You've never found a doctor who's a comedian. This is this is very mind-blowing.
Yes.
But Hilary, when you look at Uganda's comedy scene, as compared to, for example, music or other art forms, we see some comedians still struggling financially or to make sense of the comedy. What do you think is the gap there that is making Uganda's comedy fail to really sell and become something income generating? Because I've seen that multiple, musicians would think a comedian, that one, just come to my show and sort of just stand there, I will just fix you somewhere.
You're by the way at the event.
So I really don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
I think when it comes to finances, just like any other business, you have to treat it as a business. Yes. So you have to sow a seed before you harvest, So I feel like there are a lot of comedians in Uganda who don't invest in themselves, in branding, in getting partnerships with the right brands, in marketing themselves. Also, diversification. If you limit yourself to just performing on stage, then you're limiting your sources of income. But you'll find someone is a corporate MC. He performs at stand-up events. He organizes shows. He travels around the world doing shows. He's doing marketing for brands, and social media. You're also monetizing your social media. So if you can have eight sources of income, you're doing movies and all of these productions, then there's a lot of cash flow inwards.
And you bring up a very important point, which is about branding oneself, but also I would like to look at investment. And Nelson, what are your experiences with comedians in your country when it comes to investment and personal branding?
Yeah, so just like you have said, investment and personal branding is something that is very important, in as much as improvement and growth of a comedian is involved. Because like Doc has put it, comedy, there are two things. There's comedy as an art and comedy as a business. So the two have to work together for you to have something meaningful. So personal branding and everything is something that you really have to, and networking is everything. Like for instance, I can say we have brought Dr. Hilary to Zambia, yes. I think twice now, and we are coming here for the very first time to also come and see and learn. So just that exchange of culture and you know, teamwork, working together, networking, I think that is what is needed for now. And then, like you said, our comedy is different from music. So for now, you find that most comedians, we have to put in ourselves for us to brand ourselves. So it's not like, I think we still haven't yet the what we'd call investor confidence. Because
and I wanted to ask that to Hilary. You brought it up, so we can just talk about it.
Investment confident. Yes, actually they need to trust us.
Oh yeah,
they need to trust us, because comedy is not like a song that I'll do over and over.
Yeah.
Every time you come to the show, you expect something new.
Yes.
Do you think that by its nature it's doomed? Because you say they need to trust us, but it sounds like they don't. And how can we convince it? You're making people laugh.
So in fact, no, by its nature, it's not even doomed.
Yeah.
It's actually
just because it's a bit of, I don't want to call it a game, but because in its nature it's like a jinx.
Actually, I'll say comedy is a god that most people have not discovered.
People may not take you serious when you make them laugh. So I'm wondering whether the investor thinks you're joking when you ask for it. No. I never planned to laugh on this show. I have a cold, I have cough.
Oh yeah.
So I don't want to laugh, but don't you think the investors think this person might be joking? And I think you go to them with smiles and you crack jokes here and there, so they feel...
Not even just investors,
yes.
Even your own family.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
I got married in January,
yes.
But when I made my post, the whole comment section, this is another joke.
Yes.
Oh, no.
You man, you are very funny. Yet you're actually serious about something.
Yeah. Do you think that perhaps that could be affecting investment, lack of confidence by the investors?
I think for most people who would like to put money in comedy, I think it comes down to the return on investment. Yeah. And I think if you're able to show them that working with me or attaching your brand with me is something that is beneficial to you, but it's a two-way street. At the end of the day, even you as the entertainer or the comedian, you have to prove to them that actually you can offer value. So it comes down to, you know, working on yourself, building yourself, and having enough leverage to sell to someone who is willing to put in money.
Speaking about adding value and ensuring return on investments for these investors, we hear about comedy in Uganda not having enough spaces where you can actually go. It has over time shifted to bars sometimes. Do you think that is also affecting the quality and professionalism, but also our perception about that said comedy?
Yes, definitely it's affecting it in so many ways. When you look at developed comedy industries like, let's say in the UK, in the US and the like, you'll find there are established comedy clubs that are fully fledged comedy clubs. So it's not just a bar or, or a club or whatever.
Yeah.
It's a place that you find comedy from Sunday to Sunday. Absolutely. So when people walk in, they expect comedy. There are shows that run from 6 p.m. up to, let's say, 3 a.m. in the night, because they keep doing different shows, but the same performers. As compared to here, because the comedians or the promoters and organizers of the show don't have enough income to specifically rent a place and then say this is just a comedy club. So you find yourself partnering with clubs and bars, because on their end they want numbers in their facility. On your end you just want a platform to practice your art and do your business. And the lack of consistency. Yeah. So this week we are instead exactly. Bar so the bar owners, you approach them and you'll agree, and they're very hopeful. So they're like, okay, we expect to make 5 million this month, And then the very first show, 2 people come. Oh dear God. The next show, 3 people. So you've only improved by 1 person. Yeah. They said, now we have to renegotiate. So before you know it, you're closing that. You're saying, now guys, we are no longer there. We are now this side. So you're always moving. We are unsettled. But it's simply because sometimes the business isn't as expected. Or the promises you've made have not come to life. So you end up going to another place.
So Nelson, with the new trends like TikTok that make comedy very accessible and, you know, on the go, like fast food, how is that affecting traditional comedy and having to have an audience sit down and watch you for hours on end?
Okay, yeah, so I'll say TikTok, Facebook, X, and all these are good vices to that comedians use to actually promote and get known out there, because it's not easy. So you find that back then we never had these platforms, and it was quite difficult for people to actually know you. But this time around, people can know you across borders, especially if you use those platforms. But again, it still gets back to investment, because mostly you find that we are busy as comedians doing one or two things. So you need somebody to be editing and shooting your videos. So that needs you to invest in that. And then how does it affect us? It actually affects us positively. It's not really something that affects us in a negative way.
Is it not a breeding ground for a lot of new breeds or upcoming young comedians?
It is a platform. I take it as a platform for everyone, for upcoming comedians, for people to prove their materials, because as people see on social media, the next thing is they want to come and see you live. So it's actually it's something that helps us. And then you find that mostly, like in my case, I post most of my videos as skit content. So there are two types of, there are so many types of comedy, but I've chosen two. So I do skit comedy and as well as stand-up comedy. So you find that mostly on social media, I do a lot of postings on skit content creation and the likes. And then live on stage, I'm a full stand-up comedian.
How do you feel about all these upcoming young comedians, the ones that have got TikTok, almost like the 24/7 kind of job? Does that not create a lot of stiff competition to traditional comedy in the halls, in the bars and all that?
Actually, competition is what is needed everywhere, because competition improves the market and improves the art. So if you don't have competition, then monopoly is not, I don't think monopoly is very good. You need to, and they need to work hard, because in the end, you know, just by doing a lot of social media posts and everything creates an opportunity for them to have an extra income, because obviously they are going to do brand endorsement depending on the number and the consistency of the postings that they make. So you find that out of that they may get an opportunity to actually have a brand endorsement, and that will bring something to their table.
But also maybe to add on that, the more people in the industry, the better. If he's performing somewhere and I'm not there, people at least know about comedy, even in my absence. And it has really helped the industry in such a way that it's much more advertised and marketed. Back then, it was so hard to perform. You'd go to, let's say you'd go to like West Nile, you're in Koboko, or you know, Moyo district, wherever, and you go on stage, they have advertised the show and you have like 300 people in the audience, but they don't understand what stand-up is or what comedy is. So you come and hold the microphone, you talk for 30 minutes, you think you're performing, while the audience is asking, so what time does it start? We need to understand. Are you inviting someone?
They think
you are the MC, yet you're the main performer. So it's lovely to see new people joining the industry, whether it is through social media or coming on stage, because it gets the audience sort of aware of what comedy is.
And some comedians say that Ugandan audience is quite difficult, and they treat these shows like background noise. So if, say, for example, you're in a bar, they're not paying attention to you. They're actually just drinking or chatting or whatever. They think you're something in the back.
It's like you're a hype man.
Oh my goodness, that's a good one.
What you asked earlier on, because basically stand-up comedy is meant for sober people.
Absolutely. Oh yeah.
Yes, that's why it becomes very difficult to perform in a bar, because people are there to drink. So the only way it can work out is if you catch them before they get drunk. If they are drunk, it's only music and vibing.
I don't know if you've noticed, that's why every comedy show in bars, when a comedian is coming on stage, they choose a very strong song, like so that they sort of pick their attention, they bribe your attention. So they are drinking alcohol in hey, who has come? So then they...
And mostly you find that even the kind of material jokes that can work are music or jokes or something to do with soccer.
Yes, yes.
Because
Oh,
mostly
to try
Something with activity on
Yes.
stage.
Wow, it's,
Yeah.
it's
it has
sad.
to be activity based.
You really have to try and get inside their mind.
Yeah.
Yes.
And there is a growing concern about declining originality, also an increasing trend of vulgar jokes.
Yeah.
I have heard of some myself, Hillary, here in Uganda. What do you think is pushing this trend? Do you think that's more saleable?
Okay. I think one, my thoughts on sort of like X-rated material on stage comes down to one, the audience that you're performing for.
Yeah.
The Ugandan comedy audience, first of all, are hypocrites in many
my
ways.
God.
So you'll find somebody watches, you know, Cat Williams
Yes.
or Chris Rock or Dave Chappelle,
Or let's just say
most American
Comedians.
comedy, and they will praise the work that they see on their platforms. They're like, wow, I just watched the new show of Cat Williams, very, very funny show. And then they'll watch a Ugandan comedian do similar material.
Yes.
And they'll say, why is this man saying such things? He's not good. Yet, just yesterday, they said, best show I've seen from an American comedian. So it's almost like how mothers don't like their children to do something bad, but they can see other children doing something bad. They say, hey, it's a very good boy.
I was about to tell you the same. That don't
Yeah.
you think a larger part of the entire population in the world is hypocrites?
Yes.
I have watched people say, I don't want my wife to walk around dressed like that.
Yes.
But then they will cross over and have a side, whatever it's called.
Yes, yes.
So many names, side piece, dressed like that. So I don't understand. I just don't get it. So when you mention that,
So
I see
it's
it.
a similar thing, yes.
It's a
Where do you think it's coming from?
I think it's ingrained in us. I think that's how it is.
And I think with time, because
It's good.
you know, there's what is called dark humor. So it
Dark
is humor.
humor, yeah.
Yes, it's humor.
You think it's humor?
It is humor, but it is dark. It is humor, but it is dark. So there are certain comedians that thrive in that.
Yeah.
Like that's their way of joke. I'll give you an example. Very simple example that you've given. It's very difficult to perform in a bar when you have clean material.
It's very hard.
Actually,
Very hard.
it won't work.
You
Very
have
hard.
We
too
can bet you on
much.
that one. It can't work. You go to a bar and you talk of clean material, it will not work.
Yeah.
So a comedian will have to choose what kind of material they
Yeah.
are going to put for what
For that
audience.
audience, yes.
Yeah.
So if you expect me in a band to be very clean and talk about things that they cannot relate, because remember, for people to laugh and move with you, they have to relate with you.
Yeah, yeah.
So what do you think can people relate in a
Yeah.
bar? So-
And they are drunk, they are
Yes.
confused.
They are drunk and then you want to talk about a Jesus joke.
Yes, yes. And also the challenge there that is in the background that most people don't realize is the promoter wants a good show.
Yes.
So if you come on stage and you do clean material and the audience is they're not thrilled, they don't like you, they're just conversing, the promoter will say, this man next time I shouldn't bring him.
Oh, yeah.
So on the business side, as a young comedian, you're thinking, I think I need to do this in order to make some money. But also, as a comedian, I think if you're going to be a person who is, because I am a person who is set to do only clean material, then there's some stages that you say, this is not for me, I will not perform here.
I was about to bring that up because I've also had stories of several musicians, for example, world over, who come through and tell you there are shows I don't go to because
Yeah.
that's not my brand.
Yes.
And we spoke about personal branding
Yeah.
plus investment. Don't you think that to a degree we have failed to, because that sounds to me like you're being pushed around by the crowd and your
Yes.
promoters.
Yes.
So you don't have a brand, you don't even have who you are, you just have to, who wants to hear jokes about a
Yeah.
naked woman?
Yeah.
Hey, it's me. So
Yeah.
you keep being
following the
swayed
crowd.
back and forth.
Yeah.
Do you think that our comedians lack the financial power to say no to certain
To say
contracts?
no. Yes, especially in the beginning, when you're really hungry for stage, you're hungry for opportunity.
Yeah.
You know, and you've come for a show, you don't even have transport to go back, and the promoter has told you, if you're not funny, you will walk.
Oh my goodness.
Now you have to decide whether to walk.
It's actually a phase. It's a phase that everyone goes through. Even musicians.
Yeah.
When you ask them from their beginning, so you find that there are certain musicians that have actually performed maybe for a bottle of alcohol.
Oh
Yeah.
dear.
There are times when people came to me and told me to say, okay, you come and perform at my event, we'll
You'll
give you
do.
food.
That is crazy work.
You come back broke, but very satisfied.
You eat, you drink, and then you go. So there are people like that, and it's a phase.
Yeah.
So not until people trust your brand,
Yes.
then they'll respect you and they'll hear what you,
But for
what your
somebody,
conditions are.
for a young comedian watching right now, how would you advise them to sort of nurture their brand into a certain direction when they are performing for a plate of food?
Yeah.
How do you nurture your brand to reflect something in the midst of that pressure?
First of all, it's about, for comedians, there are no two ways about it. A comedian, first of all, the issue is you have to work hard, stay focused, and always keep writing. A comedian needs to keep writing like every time. So like I'm saying, the people will come, they will not know to say you're this brand until you get there. Because I'm sure by now, no one can go to Dr. Hillary and tell him to say, please come and perform, we're going to give you a plate of food and the likes, because they have trusted to his brand.
Yeah.
But there was a time, obviously, when somebody wanted to book Dr. Hillary and they would tell him to say, may I see your video? I want to see what you've done. Those are things that we've gone through. Somebody, they'll call you and then they'll tell you, but we've never seen you, please send us a video.
Yeah.
So now you're thinking, you people, you called me and then you're asking for my video. Then what?
Yeah. But I think also to handle the pressure, like you asked, I think it's important for young comedians to find the right people to associate with. So we have a couple of comedy clubs in Kampala. I partner with friends and we run one club called the Laughing Marabou in NTV, where we have strict rules in terms of the quality of the content going on stage. So you're going to come to us and we'll tell you, okay, let's keep it clean, let's do this. If you come and you're so excited and you do material that we don't like, we'll pull you aside and say, okay, this is not what we like to do, let's keep it like this, and then we shall progress together. So I think associating also with the right comics, also the role models you pick in the industry matter. So if you pick someone who does the kind of material that you wouldn't do at a wedding or at a church, then that becomes a challenge.
Okay, so as we wind up, I just want to pose a question to both of you. Why is it that comedy is excelling in certain countries around the world, or in Africa, for example, and not others? Nelson, you can go first.
Basically, why are you suffering?
It's an easy question and a difficult question because she has asked in other countries where I have not been.
But we watch them online. We do really hear feedback and watch them online.
First of all, it's all about, like I've said, where I come from, there's a ministry that is in charge of comedians.
Amazing.
So that by itself shows that there's a direction in which we want to push the industry to. Next, the comedians also have an association which brings about the rules and regulations where I belong. So like Dr. Hira said, if a young comedian comes, we ask them first of all to come in this thing, and then we move together. So it's for it to develop, I think there has to be a deliberate policy kind of.
That's very good. That's a good structure to nurture all of these comedians. So, Dr. Hillary, what can we do back home here?
Back home, I think let's support comedy. You know, special shout out to everyone. Viola, I don't know if you've attended any comedy show.
I have.
Which one did you go for?
I am not going to say it here. I am not allowed to say it.
Yes,
but I love our stand-up comedians. They are growing and they're getting better, which I appreciate. Yeah.
So people like you who come for shows, who come to support comedy, thank you so much. Those who, not everyone can come for shows. You know, some people at work during show hours, so you watch on social media, you share the clips, all that adds value to the industry, so thank you so much. And I think we just need to support our comedians whenever we have events, we have shows. Like tonight, we have a show at Motive Bugolobi.
Yes.
I'm doing a show called Jokes from Far Away. It's a show we've been doing in about 6 African countries. Wow. And we just left Tanzania and Kenya recently. We're going to Rwanda in May. But tonight, we're at Motive Bugolobi in Kampala.
Amazing.
So,
I think I should come through, but I'm afraid I have this terrible cough. How am I going to laugh?
It's fine. We shall put you behind the AC.
So it's very simple. Laughter is medicine. We are the doctors.
But first take real medicine.
Absolutely. I need to take tablets first.
Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you so much for coming through, Dr. Hilary.
Thank you for having us.
Dr. Hilary Okello is a comedian, but I also like the background, the fact that you're qualified. You're literally, you're not joking around.
Yeah.
So I just want to let our viewers know that comedians are not a joke.
We are
They're actually
people.
very serious people.
Yeah. Salvador is an engineer. Napoleon is a teacher.
See?
Like, yeah, we're serious people.
They are very serious people. And so Dr. Hilary Okello, right here, thank you for coming.
Thank you so much.
And Nelson Silweya from Zambia, thank you so much for coming.
You can easily call me Inspector Pamela.
Pardon?
You can easily call me Inspector Pamela.
Oh, Inspector. Okay, send our greetings to the people of Zambia when you return.
I will,
and thank you for coming to Uganda. Enjoy our beautiful country.
Thank you so much.
Okay, and so the morning show is going to take a break. When we return, we shall be talking more about the International Labour Day, so stay with us. We shall be right back.